Hey Internet, this is Jacob Clifford and welcome to my YouTube channel. Now in 1949, Albert Einstein wrote an essay called Why Socialism? And now surveys 70 years later say that Americans, young Americans, see socialism in a more positive light than capitalism. So why? And is socialism better than capitalism? Well, let's take a look at Einstein's essay and find out. The first half of the essay is kind of filler because he's explaining why everybody, including physicists, should be allowed to comment on social issues. And he's 100% correct. We shouldn't leave it up just to the politicians and the economists and the so-called experts to organize society for us. Since we're all living in society, we should all get an equal say. So way to go, Einstein. Actually, when you say that, it sounds condescending, like way to go, Einstein. But in this case, way to go, Einstein. Yeah, correct. I agree. Einstein, you are right. Now, when you read the second half of the essay, you realize he's not really saying what's good about socialism or why it works. He basically is trashing capitalism and saying why capitalism doesn't work. And at one point he says the economic anarchy of capitalist society as it exists today is, in my opinion, the real source of evil. And that's pretty heavy, Doc. I mean, that's a big statement. He's basically creating a new equation. He says capitalism equals evil. But then he backs it up with specific things he says it's wrong with capitalism. His first argument is the idea of income inequality. The idea that wealth and influence and power are concentrated in a few hands. And Einstein was right. He's exactly right. The rich are getting richer at a faster and faster rate. Free market economists usually counter that by talking about the pie analogy, right? The idea that sure, poor people have a smaller percentage of the pie today, but since the economy is growing and the pie is getting bigger, then the actual amount of that slice, even though it's a smaller percentage, is a bigger piece than it otherwise would be. But if you ask me, that is just a cop-out. We have to be 100% honest. Capitalism will always cause inequality. It's inherent in the system. If there's two companies that are competing, whichever one makes a better product is going to get customers and they're going to thrive and make a lot of money, and the other one's going to go out of business. And the same thing in the labor market. If you have the skills and the abilities and the talents, then you can compete for higher wage jobs. And if you don't have skills, then you're unemployed. Capitalism only works because it promotes competition, and competition is going to result in winners and losers. So Einstein, again, he's right. Way to go, Einstein. His second main argument against capitalism is the idea that the rich and powerful have too much influence on politicians. And again, Einstein's right. Big corporations spend billions of dollars each year trying to lobby politicians and fund campaigns. And this idea of crony capitalism, where the government, not consumers, decide who wins and who loses, is a serious problem. Again, I agree with you, Einstein. You are right. We've got to get big business out of campaign finance. And I also believe in Einstein's final critique that money doesn't buy happiness, so capitalism's focus on money is wasting people's energy on something that won't make them happy. It's just true. Greed is not good, and there's studies that show that up to a certain income level, making more money beyond that doesn't increase your happiness, right? More money, more problems. It doesn't make your life better getting richer. So I agree with what Einstein's saying, but here's where I disagree. All three of his main arguments against capitalism, the idea of inequality and corrupt politicians, and the idea of greed, are not unique to capitalism. These are things that involve human nature. It doesn't matter your economic system, you're always going to have a problem with these. Look at the idea of inequality. Men are just not created equal. Some people are smarter, like Einstein. Some people are more talented, more creative. Some people work more and work harder, and other people prefer their leisure time. That's just how it is. It doesn't matter what kind of economic system you have. You'll still have people who are adding a lot to the economy and people who aren't adding very much at all. But just like many economists, I believe we have a responsibility to help those who are not as intelligent or talented or hardworking. So we should redistribute some income from the people who've been blessed with talents and gifts to the people who are less gifted. So we have a responsibility to help the poor, but we also have to ask ourselves, to what extent does socialism decrease people's incentive and willingness to work? How much is that going to affect everybody? And what about the idea of corrupt politicians? That's not just something that you see in countries that have capitalism. In fact, the countries that have socialism, where the government controls everything, wouldn't that be a lot worse? Wouldn't it be a whole lot easier for someone to manipulate the system for their gain if they control the economy? And for the idea of greed, does having a socialist economic system really increase people's likeliness to help their fellow man and think of others first and not be self-interested? Are socialists more loving and kind and helpful than capitalists? Notice how I framed each one of these counter-arguments as a question to make you think about it. The reason why is I don't want to present my opinions as facts. We need to have an open and honest discussion. Capitalism is not perfect. If anyone tells you that it is, then they just don't understand it. And the same thing goes for socialism. So the question shouldn't be, is capitalism better than socialism? It should boil down to specific policies, and we should look at the situation and say, okay, is it better to have the government have more influence or less influence in this specific situation? If we do that, then we're on the right track. And that's why I love this essay by Einstein. He says we need to have free and unhindered discussion about these topics, and we shouldn't be afraid to offer our views to everybody, to get the ideas out there and not have them be taboo. Mindless devotion to one economic system is not gonna get us anywhere, and it's not gonna solve the world's problems. Thanks for watching. Till next time. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. It's kind of a different format. I'm here inside my office just talking to the camera. If you like it, let me know in the description below. Let me know if you think Einstein is right or if he's wrong. I included the entire essay in the description below so you can read through it and take a look. Thanks so much for watching these videos. Please subscribe to my channel and let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Till next time.